I guess I am going to be starting here. Let's get right into Reddit. This is episode 4 that I'm recording now. So, if you're following along, I'm 4 episodes in. Uh, let's start with this one. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker that her husband's insecurities are not my concerns? Ooh, here we go. Roughly a week ago, I, a male who's 37, sent on a 3-day business trip with my coworker, Ashley, who's 35, across the country. Ashley and I are really good friends and work very closely. Also, since it was our area of expertise, it made the most sense for our company to send us. So, they're good friends. That's a good start. Ashley's husband, Justin, who's 39, also works for the company. Long story short, Justin doesn't like me at all. Okay, Justin sounds very jealous, maybe? Because, I sense jealousy, strong jealousy, because another male, you know. Yeah, I think it's a jealousy thing so far. Long story short, Justin doesn't like me at all. Personally, I think he's a bit prejudiced and insecure, as he didn't mind me at our company. Was working virtually during COVID, but once he met me in person, his opinion changed. Since then, there has been a pretty noticeable sense of rivalry between us. Furthermore, Ashley has mentioned previously that he doesn't like how close we work together and how friendly I am with her. Jealousy. Toxic levels of jealousy going on here. Like, don't get me wrong, there's jealousy anywhere in any relationship, but it's probably not very healthy jealousy. The business trip was both successful and fun. We finished most of our work obligations on the first 2 days of the trip, so we spent most of the third day having some fun and enjoying the city. Okay, sounds like a great way to do things. Just explore, get a chance to enjoy the area that you're going to. Just a little bit at least. Justin texted Ashley pretty often, asking what we were up to, which was a bit obnoxious. At some point, I asked her to respond less often, and that did get him to stop asking so many questions. So, the way I see it here is like he's a bit. He over-texts, like way too controlling kind of vibes from him I'm getting. Where he's got to text her so much. It's like, hey, what are you doing now? Hey, what are you doing now? Hey, what are you doing now? It's a bit much, in my opinion. Since we got back, Ashley has been telling me that Justin's acting strangely. Yesterday evening, he told her how uncomfortable the trip made him feel. She went on to tell me that it wasn't just a trip, but also how close he thinks we are and how often we text and joke around each other. I felt annoyed that Justin seemingly wanted to exert some control over my life, so I told Ashley that his concerns and insecurities were not my problem. She said that I was being too unsympathetic towards him, and that I needed to be more patient with him. Am I the asshole? It's a friendship. It's just a friendship, a working friendship. I don't think I see anything wrong on their end. Now if they're sleeping together and then he was like, what? Didn't know that information. Yeah, assholes. But this one seems like a friendship, and when they work together and stuff, they explore a city and just kind of enjoy that experience as friends, So I just see him as being a bit controlling. The one that the woman's with is a bit controlling. So I'm gonna say not the asshole. Huh. Okay. Here's interesting. I was going to say not the asshole until I read the part about how you asked her to text him less. That IMO makes you the asshole. You knew he was uncomfortable to begin with. That action escalated it. then I mean, I understand that aspect there, but at the same time, I agree with this next one down here a little bit more. Maybe it's because it's annoying to hang out with a friend who can't look up from her phone because her husband is insecure. Yeah, that's what I was getting when I was reading through. Then you get the troll comment, like, definitely makes it harder to hit on her. It's pretty troll. Uh, hmm, hmm, hmm. I feel like they're, yeah. Well, it's just a small segment in the story that they seem to be clinging on to in this. Mostly with the whole small statement of um, text him less kind of deal. Kind of deal. It seems like a lot of people are going towards him being the asshole for that part. The way I personally read the story was seeing it as basically like he's trying to have a friendship with a colleague and stuff, and the husband just keeps messaging and messaging like crazily, and you know, friendship sometimes, there's a focus there that's got to be there. And sometimes if the other friend is not really even trying to focus on, you know, doing that. I mean, they're coworkers, but friends too. It's tough to. I don't know. I find Reddit's decision here interesting. That's all. Interesting. I'm going to go to another one here. I'm going to another one. Am I the asshole for making my son cook for his sister, even if it means cooking at midnight and waking him up? Okay. Okay, just by reading the title, I'm not really sure what to think of this. Could kind of lean in the asshole category with prediction, but, open minds going into this. It's literally 14 days now out of 185 days of school. He won't fail school. That's extremely dramatic for 2 weeks of being tired. I think I'm reading the wrong part of this. Hi, Dad. You good, bud? Oh, he's raising that. He's fine. Hear me. So the main post here is my daughter's 21, gets off of work at 4 a.m. She usually stays up until lunchtime and then sleeps until she goes to work. She works a night shift. My son's 17 and still is in high school. I'm at work when she's sleeping, but my son was home for the summer and he would wake her up to make him food. He would pester her until she did it so she could go back to sleep. It came to head a month ago when my daughter lost it and finally learned about it. Anyways, long conversation. In his punishment, he has to make my daughter food when she asks for at any time the same amount she did for him. So, it's about 30 times he woke her up. So he has to make her 30 meals. Everyone agreed, though my son wasn't happy, and picked it over losing his phone for a month. So my daughter will wake him up to make her food. He still has 15 meals left. He hates it, but he gets the point across. Now school started and he got woken up last night to make her food, so in the morning he was tired. He tried as all hell. Went to his grandparents and I got a huge argument with my mom, who thinks I'm an asshole for punishment fits the crime. Asshole, but the punishment fits the crime. My son won't talk to me and I'm questioning myself, even though my husband is backing up the punishment. Okay. Like, don't get me wrong. This is a punishment, so it's meant to be inconvenient. And that comes across well. Like, it's supposed to be inconvenient. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. I personally back this story. I don't think it's an asshole. Not even remotely. Like, the kid was being an annoyance and crossing lines and did it 30 times in a friggin' row. They should have to taste their own medicine, not the asshole. Okay, I see this one here. This is actually the perfect punishment. He woke her up for food, so now he has to feel what it's like. Yeah. And he was given a choice. Though, in my opinion, I think I would have. What were the two options here? I'm just going to go over here, look at two options they had. So, he either gets woken up or he loses his phone for a month. I personally would have picked losing the phone for a month. The phone privileges. Because there's other phones that can be used if you need to use it. Usually in any area, especially at school. And you need your rest. And if that's taken away from you, then you're not benefiting throughout the workday. So yeah, I think I personally would pick the phone one. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna say not the asshole. Okay. As a teacher, not the asshole. There are lessons in which are much more important than the ones you learn at school. This is one of them. Yeah? For the whiners worrying about the boy's education, don't be ridiculous. It's 2 weeks. They'll definitely not shatter his academic career. Moreover, he chose it instead of having the phone confiscated. Yeah, reiterating the decisions. Yeah, a lot of people are saying about the punishment fitting the crime. So yeah, I agree. Okay. Ooh, this one seems interesting. Am I the asshole for giving my wife an ultimatum about baby names? Read stuff. Can we read this? Am I the asshole for giving my wife an ultimatum about baby names? Before my wife and I got married, we made an agreement that we should get to name our first boy, and I would get to name our first girl. We recently discovered that she was pregnant with twins, and after talking about it, we decided to stick to our original plan. I thought everything would be fine, but ever since I heard the name she chose, we've been having problems. The name is bad. It sounds really stupid. And it's absolutely the kind of name that will get our son bullied. I immediately vetoed it, but my wife said I can't because that wasn't our agreement. Okay. He wants to defy the agreement. And quite frankly, I'd have to hear what this name is. Okay. I asked why she insisted on a particular name. Apparently it comes from a character she identified with in one of her favorite books when she was growing up. But emotional attachment doesn't make the name itself any better. I'm sorry, but he gets to pick a name, but she doesn't. I say, so far, he's coming off as an a-hole, but let's keep going. I said, fine, and then I might as well name our daughter Hortensia Beerbong the Third. It sounds just as dumb. She told me I couldn't do that, and I said, why not? It's my choice. That's the agreement. We've been in an impasse ever since. Now, obviously, I'm not going to name my daughter that. And I'm pretty sure my wife knows that too. I was just trying to help her see the mistake she was making, but she's not listening to reason. Recently, she started hinting she might just take off around her due date to give birth somewhere without me and my naming input. I think it's uncalled for, but I've got a week-long business trip I can't get out of about a month before she's due. I'm worried she'll take the opportunity to disappear until after the twins are here. I told my brother to keep an eye on her while I'm gone, but it's not like he can watch her 24/7. I think the name choice is dumb. It'll cause problems for our son, and she thinks that I'm being controlling and overdramatic. Neither of us are willing to back down, but her hints about skipping town at the birth, I've been wondering if things have gone too far. Am I the asshole? I'm going to say yes, mostly because I'm pretty sure her name isn't that bad. Like, he didn't even, from what I've read here, he's talking about the name and did his name get child bullied, but he did not say, like, the first name. What's the first name? What's anything? And I don't think it's that ridiculous. I just think it might be a unique name, but it's not like, I don't think it's anything that probably crosses a big line. And yet he throws this BS name that he knows sounds not right, just to be a douche. So for that, definitely the a-hole. But as far as this goes, I think he's the asshole just in general. This is the story. And then, just kind of scrolling down. I think you and your wife have more issues than just naming the children. Further threaten to take off and have the birth of the hide you name the children to spite you, and then you escalating your brother to watch her. It's not a good indicator for the health of your marriage. For many couples, naming their children is a 2 guesses is a win. A single no cancels that choice. You both should agree on the names. Now, they're saying the name is Neville. The name is Neville. It's a classic normal name. OP is making up reasons to be mad about it. Okay, first of all, what's wrong with that? Okay, so saying it's Neville or something. What's wrong with Neville? Nothing's wrong with the name Neville. Makes it sound like it's like Skid or Mark. It's the middle name of Skid Mark. No, that's a pick. There's a pick. It's so stupid. Neville Longbottom. Stupid. It's a stupid kind of argument. I mean, Neville doesn't sound stupid at all. I don't know. Oh, God. Okay. Here's one that's interesting. Am I an asshole for telling a girl it's absolutely her fault she got pregnant for the 3rd time? Before I start, I honestly don't care if people enjoy sex. There's nothing wrong with it as long as they're using condoms, etc. I am 24, female, know a girl, 19, from class. We definitely are not friends, but she started dumping all of her private info on me the first day. There's some people, they reveal way too much about themselves. That is a trend. I've seen that with some people. Some of the examples include sleeping around with random guys every weekend, not on any form of birth control, not using condoms due to latex allergies, getting pregnant and miscarrying twice, and not getting medical help afterwards. Her family is well off, so it's not like she can't afford to go to an OBGYN or get a hormonal birth control. That's not even the worst of the stories she's told me, but they're not relevant to the post. She came into class one day and was upset about something. I didn't even ask what's wrong because I'm done with her oversharing. Of course, she started spilling the beans anyways. Turns out she's pregnant and miscarried for the third time. I looked at her dead in the eye and said, it's like you could have prevented it. We're not friends. Stop telling me these things. She made a shocked face and stopped talking to me. My friends think I'm an asshole for lacking empathy. Honestly, I'm just done with her oversharing things. Am I the asshole? No. At least not my opinion. Mostly the way the story's told, I get the impression that this person's sharing way too much, and what they're sharing is very much out in the open, in room for discussion. So, the fact that you're just like, hey, why don't you try to prevent it? If you don't want it, try to prevent it. You know? And it's clear that this person, by the way the story's told, is just doing what they like, but not really thinking so much about the consequences. And really just sounds like they're just going to repeat the same way of doing things over and over again. Let's see now. Not the asshole. You are a therapist or lifelong friend for her to vent to. Oh, you aren't her therapist or lifelong friends for her to vent to. You're just like some classmate or something. Sometimes direct, blunt correction is the best way to prevent future occurrence. Good luck in school. Yeah. Not the asshole. Acquaintances don't get to dump their shit all over everybody they meet and expect sympathy. My theory, half or maybe all of this girl tells people is made up. She's doing it for attention. Trolls exist in real life. Don't feed them. Not the asshole, but you should know that rich, wealthy, and well-off will never mean informed, intelligent, or capable. Naivety, ignorance, and stupidity will know no bounds. Throughout life, you have a choice to be kind or dismissive. You were rude, but it doesn't make you an a-hole for not caring about a stranger. Well, this person's just emotionally dumping on this other person, and you have the right to either go with it or not go with it. And I don't think that makes you an asshole either way. As long as you do it clear and you're not very super like if you cross. I mean, there's a way that you could cross like the emotional boundaries and stuff and be like a super douche. But here it just seems like this person stated what needed to be stated for them to get this person to back off. So, yeah. Alright. I gotta scroll down. No, but if I can go with it. Okay, here's an interesting one. Ooh, long-winded too. Am I the asshole for calling my fiance incompetent? My fiance has a long history of either making no effort to learn basic tasks or doing them poorly, so I have to redo them. Examples. There's so many more than just 3. Okay, we're going to go over 3 examples here, so it'll be interesting. One time, she called me while I'm at work asking her to come change her tire because she got a flat. I told her I can't leave work because I have an important meeting and she'll have to change it herself. She calls me again 3 hours later asking if my meeting was over and if I could help now. I asked why she didn't just put on her spare tire, to which she said she didn't know how. So instead she went in, got food at a cafe nearby, and left her car. I asked why in 2 hours she didn't just Google how to change a tire. She said her dad has always come to change the tire for her. I was pretty annoyed, and I told her I'm not her dad, so she will need to learn how to do these types of things, but ultimately left work to help her change the tire. She also hasn't made any attempt to learn how to change a tire since then. Ugh. Like, when you're in a tricky situation, it's best to try to understand it and then try to figure out a way to fix it, kind of deal. Even if it means going on your phone, getting on Google. And it seems like she had that option of doing that, of looking it up, but instead just chose to chill and wait for her problem to be fixed for her. Damn. Okay. Okay, that's pretty lazy. That's lazy, okay. Number 2, we recently bought a home. It's the first time either of us have a yard. We split chores evenly. I mowed the first week, and then the second week rolled around. I pointed out that it was her turn since the grass was getting long. The next day was one of the few days where it wouldn't be extremely hot. She looked absolutely puzzled because apparently she just assumed I was always going to be the one to mow. She said she didn't know how to start the mower, so I showed her how to start it, adjusted the height and gas, etc., and she agreed to mow the next day. I came home from work and she hadn't mowed, and I asked why. She said she couldn't start the mower. It's a brand new Honda mower that's probably the easiest thing to start on earth. Annoyingly, the mower was in the exact spot from the day before, so I know she didn't even try. Okay, there's no effort put in on even trying to start it or trying to ride it and understand it. That's, sometimes just people that gotta learn hands-on, and this was an opportunity for her to kind of get a hands-on practice with it, and she didn't take it. So that's not good. Number 3, we bought new light switches. Since the old ones were ugly and cream colored, there were about 16 of them in total that needed to be swapped out. I told her I would swap out the ones downstairs if she does the ones upstairs. I did mine that day, and she said she'd do hers later. Well, 5 weeks passed, and I asked her if she was ever going to swap them out. She told me she couldn't figure it out. Mind you, I'd never done this before either, but I watched a 5-minute YouTube video and just read the instructions, and it's pretty easy. I asked her if she's going to do them, and she says I'll probably just leave them as is since they don't look that bad. I was sure she was the one who wanted them. I bought them because she took so long to do it. They were past the return date, so basically I'm forced to do it. I told her I'm tired of a weaponized incompetence, and she said she's not doing it on purpose. So then I told her maybe it's just a regular incompetence then. And she's still upset at me. I'm not asshole. So from these stories, I get the impression that she just doesn't care and not putting enough effort into the relationship. So outburst feels built up over a period of time and justified. I mean, yeah, rude in the moment, but doesn't seem inaccurate either by the way the story's told. So, I say not the asshole. Not the asshole. She's a master of weaponized incompetence, as you say. She deserves to be called out. Okay? Huh. Am I the asshole for moving out because my boyfriend didn't get my hint? My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. I have a 5-year-old border collie, something mix, Molly, who I got from a city shelter when she was 6 months old. Molly and I have been inseparable, and my BF and her got along great when we started dating. I thought he saw Molly as his dog even though I paid for everything regarding Molly's food, vet, bills, etc. Last year, my boyfriend lost his job for 4 months, and I paid for everything until he got another job. Sounds very caring. Sounds like the dynamic there. It's a little bit rough, but okay, let's continue. It was probably an extra $5,000, but I paid it because I expected him to do the same for me if I got sick or laid off. I never asked for it paid back or mentioned it again, and he said anything but thanks when I said I would do it. Okay, neglecting the thanks makes him come off as a douche. because there should be at least a thanks up there. A few months ago, Molly was having trouble walking and developed a tumor on her hind leg, and it was making her limp. I was worried and took her to the vet, who did a biopsy and said it was not cancerous, but they did several biopsies because they were not sure. All the biopsy, blood tests, overnight stays, meds, and surgery cost around $5,300. And I had some savings that I could cover it, but that would be my entire emergency fund. My BF had a few thousand extra because he was saving for a motorcycle, and I told him I had trouble paying Molly's vet bill. He didn't say anything but that sucks, and proceeded to buy his motorcycle a week later. Sounds like a douche. The guy sounds like a douche who, should have put side aspects of his motorcycle or given some money towards it or something like that. Seems like when you're in a relationship, you should be able to help somebody when they need it, and she helped him. Why can't he help her? I was so angry because I'd helped him, but he couldn't be bothered to help Molly when it came down to it. I did have to empty my entire savings on Molly's vet bills and have less than $1,000 in savings. The lease is only under my boyfriend's name. I gave him a month's notice. I was leaving, and he should find a roommate if he wanted to split the cost with someone. He was shocked and said I completely blindsided him. I told him the reason. He argued. I said I had trouble paying vet bills, but he didn't tell. Didn't tell him I expect him to help. I pointed out I'd help when he was out of work, and he argued he thought the money from that was a gift because he never agreed to pay it back, so I shouldn't expect help in exchange. Okay. The logic of some people where, there's some people that you help out, but they just see it as a gift. They don't see, like say you're in trouble or something. They don't do the same back. So it feels like an uneven setup, I feel like if chips on the table, both sides really do show what they're all about, I pointed out I'd helped when he was out of work. He argued they thought the money was a gift because he had never agreed to pay back, so I shouldn't expect help in exchange. I argued he acted like Molly was his dog, and he argued I was paying for everything regarding her, so he didn't expect me to ask him for anything. He told everyone we were mutual friends. He told everyone we were mutual friends with. I had blindsided him and left him without good reason. I told some of these friends why I left, and most took my side, but some of the guys and girls told me it was because guys are extremely bad at communicating, and I should have directly asked for money, and just mentioning I had trouble paying a bill means my boyfriend wouldn't have gotten it. I don't buy that my boyfriend is stupid enough to not get the indirect ask, and even if he didn't, I can't believe he didn't offer the principal if he loves Molly. Am I the asshole here? No, not the asshole. I don't think this person's the asshole. But I do gotta say that I do understand that, like, being a guy and stuff, I understand that sometimes I just feel like if something's hinted at to a guy, we might just look at it and go, and okay, this is that situation. And then you could explain to us later or something and be like, but I really want you to do this. And I'd be like, well, why didn't you tell me you wanted me to do that? I would have done it. That kind of logic. But at the same time, with a connection with a dog, I guess, like, hypothetically, if I'm thinking about myself in the situation, and I had the connection with the dog and her and something like that, I guess my approach would be when she brings up the vet bills and stuff, I'd be like, well, if I can give you some money to help you out, so, I like to help out in some kind of way, because that's just my approach towards it, is I'd want to try to be helpful, in that moment. Be like, oh, what can I do to help you out? Is there anything I can do to help you out? That kind of thing. That kind of question. And that probably would have brought a direct answer of some kind. Then there's this one here that kind of follows the point of being a little bit more clear in the conversation. You should have helped, but you should have been more clear with what you wanted instead of being vague. But it's clear that the guy's selfish in aspects here too. And let's read this one here. It's kind of ironic here. There's that yet men are bad communicators, but cease to expect him to read her mind. So there's that kind of aspect in this story here where, she's hinting at something merely. Say it. Just say it. Don't hint it. Just say that, could you do something? Just ask for it bluntly. I think that would have gotten the message across a lot better than hinting. Certain people cannot read hints. Even though what he did kind of came across as douchey, I do feel like both sides do carry a level of, what the fudge. Alright, scrolling down a bit. Okay, what about this? Am I the asshole for giving my mother's ring to my girlfriend? My mother owned an extremely beautiful ring, and as his oldest child, I inherited the ring when she passed away 5 years ago. I should say that my mother was a horrible person and no one liked her. So the only thing important about the ring is its beauty and its price. Well, that's unfortunate, that mother connection of not good. My daughter, 19, was always obsessed with this ring. I used the ring to propose to my girlfriend. When my daughter found out about it, she was upset and called me an asshole for giving the ring to my girlfriend. She then asked if she'll ever inherit the ring, and I said she probably won't because it's my girlfriend's now, and she will want to give it to her own child. She and all my siblings think I'm an asshole and should have kept the ring for my daughter, but it belonged to me. So I think I should be able to decide what I want to do with it. So it belongs to me, so I think I should get to decide what to do with it. In reading this, yeah, it is his property. The daughter's jealous that she can't really have it, but then again, was it ever her property? It's the guy's mother's property, and even though he's passing along to somebody else, that's his right to do so. It might have came off a little bit rude, but I'm gonna say not the asshole. Oh. Okay, you're the asshole. Your daughter was always obsessed with the ring, so why not give it to her? She probably had met your mother since your mother died 5 years ago. Your daughter's 19. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Girlfriend probably has no connection with your mom, so why does she need the ring? By saying that your daughter won't inherit the ring someday and that your girlfriend will probably give it to her own child, it hurt your daughter. And you don't even seem to care. Whether your mom was terrible or not, the ring represents something to your daughter, and you just gave it away, making her feel like you do not care about her at all. If I were you, I'd ask the ring back from the girlfriend, get her a different ring, and give the daughter a ring for her birthday or Christmas or something. Wow. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I'm just starting to see the perspective of this person being the asshole about. Yeah, I didn't think of the aspect of the statement here of the daughter was always obsessed with the ring at 19, and the mother passing away 5 years. So obviously knew the mom. Had time with the mother. So there's some sentimentality and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to see why my perspective was off. I just kind of saw it as somebody who got an item and, it's their property. So, I didn't think about sentimentalities. Uh, Sometimes I learn something new on this Reddit here with aspects in my approach. Hmm. Huh. Trying to find something interesting here. Okay. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my father financially when I make over 5 times his salary? Holy cow. I, 31-year-old male of a father who's 52, who has 2 other children from another woman. He always asks me for money because I am a chemical engineer that makes over 250K a year. Most of the time, I do it because he asks. His asks are pretty small, but he has never had a vacation with me before. In the last 2 years, he has asked me to pay for his trips to have quality time with his other kids. This year, I asked if I could go also tag along, but he said I wouldn't fit in and it'd be awkward. This time, the trip cost over $20,000, so I said, if I'm paying for this trip, I'm tagging along. He got very annoyed and said that he had promised a father-son bonding experience for them. Oh, this dude sounds like a douche. Like, I'm sorry, but like, his father, but he doesn't want his son to come along as he hangs with his other children that the son is paying for. Oh, this father sounds like an a-hole for sure. Like, came tag along. He got very annoyed and said that he had promised a father-son bonding experience for them. I asked him why he promised to do something he couldn't afford. He said, because I know you'll pay for it. Oh, douche. Royal douche I'm getting from it. I asked him why we never had a father-son bond time. He shouted, are you gonna do it or not? I told him no. Good. He did the right thing. This dude sounds like an a-hole. Now my family's saying that just be as I would deny something that doesn't mean I should deny it to other people. Oh. Okay, the father doesn't want to bond with the son, but wants to take his son's money. Yeah, no. This dude sounds like an a-hole, 100%. But maybe he shouldn't have promised someone he'd do something when he couldn't afford it. I don't know. A lot of people are telling me that I'm an asshole. What do you think? Who are these? A lot of people. These are a lot of people that seem to have their heads up their butts. Because, I mean, just reading the storyline, I'm amazed that anybody decides to go along with the father unless he's fibbing the story a bit or something, or stretching it out or trying to word it differently. But from what I'm gathering here, the way he's phrasing it, the son here is just, yeah, this dude's an asshole. I don't give him any money. You don't deserve it. Not the asshole. I thought this was going to be about helping your dad with medical bills or something a reasonable person might ask for help with. What plan is your father on? $20,000 for a vacation you aren't even a part of? That's insane. You're his son, not a personal trust fund. There we go. Yeah. And the father is a leech. Use the son's ATM. Yeah. That's what I gathered from the story too. Yeah. I initially thought the story might go a different direction as well, but wow, that took a turn. That's what these stories tend to do. They do a 360. Right when you think you got an idea from the title. Nope. Okay. Okay, this one's interesting. I'm trying to find interesting titles here to run with. That's how I'm doing my decision making on this. Am I the asshole for calling my stepmother an ableist bitch and saying my dad should divorce her? Ooh, that's bold. I, a female, is 19. My stepmother, female, is 51. Don't get along. She, my dad, male, 53, got married 2 years ago, and she disliked as soon as we met because I had my girlfriend over as soon as I introduced myself, and my girlfriend, oh, lesbian, turned to my dad and whispered, not very quietly, "You didn't mention this about your daughter. She was never directly homophobic to me, but I heard about her and my dad argue some about it until she eventually dropped the subject. I assume because she didn't want it to ruin their relationship. I graduated in 2022 and have been at university in another state. While I was there, I met my current girlfriend, who's 20. We've been together for 9 months, and I'm truly in love with her. She comes from a deaf family and is also deaf herself, so I started learning American Sign Language. I am now conversant. I can easily understand signing and be understood. Okay, learning a new skill for somebody you love. Hell yeah. Last week, my girlfriend came to stay with me and meet my family. She had met my dad over the phone, and he loved her already. But I was worried because of the past bigoted tendencies. As soon as they were introduced, SM ignored my request that she should speak lower so my girlfriend can read her lips, and she acted like she wasn't even there. You know, she knows my girlfriend's deaf. I tried to interpret, but I could tell girlfriend was uncomfy. It was just the two of us for most of her visit, but we had a family dinner planned, which is when things went to shit. Sometimes there's got to be some levels of compromise, and if there's not, well, yeah, it's a shit. Besides, I would be an interpreter. I let my fam know in advance, and it was fine until we sat down to eat. I signed when anyone was speaking, and I voiced anything the girlfriend signed. Then, when SM was saying something, she abruptly stopped mid-sentence, looked at me, and snapped, "Stop flailing your hands around while I'm talking. It's incredibly distracting." Oh my. So this lady does not understand what sign language is. Okay, that's great. I stayed calm and responded, "I'm signing so the girlfriend can understand you. You know that?" She didn't argue, but kept glaring at me after. Later, Dad was making dessert, and SM said, "Your relationship doesn't seem healthy. You learned the whole language for her, and she can't even bother to speak." Oh, my goodness. Okay, that douche. I didn't answer and told her to stop being rude. We were eating dessert when Dad asked the girlfriend something, and while she was signing, SM interpreted, "Would you use your words? You're not a child, and should know how to speak for yourself." I didn't sign it, but the girlfriend read her lips and left the table crying. I blew up at SM and yelled, "God, Dave, I knew you were gonna be such an ableist bitch to the woman I love. I never would have brought her here. I can't believe my dad ever married you. Bizarre excuse for a woman. I hope he divorces you." She was crying and started to yell back, but my dad calmed her down before glaring at me and saying, "I can't believe you just spoke to her that way. Apologize now." I scoffed and left the table in anger, going to my room to find a girlfriend. I've been getting the cold shoulder from SM since then. When my dad agrees that her actions were unacceptable, he thinks it was a complete asshole move to say what I did. Okay. I can kind of, I'm not saying I'm going to get this right, but some of the comments that Reddit might have, but here's what I'm thinking that they might go with, and here's what I'm kind of going with here. Basically, I say not the asshole on her part, because she went through all this process to be with this girl that she really liked. She learned how sign language for her, and she wanted to be very inclusive with her, and she wanted other people to be inclusive with her, bring this woman in, And and what I'm reading is that the what is it? The stepmother, SM. That's what it means. Okay, the stepmother is just rude. She's just being blunt and not really willing to be inclusive, and I see that as being a douche. And the fact that it ended up in a blowout kind of a statement, it kind of built there. It just naturally went there. I don't think she did anything wrong. It's just, yeah, it just kind of naturally went there. And the father's response, though, that's something that kind of lingers on my head a little bit. His first reaction is not to try to say that, hey, yeah, you shouldn't have done that to my daughter's girlfriend. That's rude. You're being rude to her. No, instead he's like, apologize to the woman I'm with who's being very rude right now. You know, I don't know. Something about that's just not great. I don't think the father had an asshole move in there, in the story. But yeah. Not the asshole, I'm sorry to hear this. Your poor girlfriend, your dad's insane to be with someone so hateful. Huh. Okay, this is probably who's competitive elk is the person telling the story. Okay, they responded. He's a great man. I've talked to him about it multiple times. And every time he talks about her, it's with complete rose-colored glasses. It's like she's a completely different person when she's with him, and she's only ever had moments like this a few times. Now the asshole is that mother's bigoted, your father's name and your bigotry. If anyone else's apology, it's your stepmother to your girlfriend. Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to end with here. Is that, yeah, I agree with this one here. The stepmother is not willing to be open-minded, and the father is like in that statement where he's like, "Oh, you apologize right now," to his daughter. Yeah, it's enabling the bigotry. So, yeah, this sums it up. So, I'm going to read 3 more stories and react to them, and then I'm going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. Alright.
Oh, there's a... Yeah, sure.
Alright. Okay, here's one right here. Am I the asshole for offering to take custody of my nephew? My stepsister, Yas, passed away 4 years ago, leaving behind her son Louis, who's now 11, and her husband Tom. I made up my mind to be there for Louis any way I could, and although I don't live close, I visit him every 6 weeks. Even when I had just had my daughter, I check in with him on the daily. Well, that's very kind to do, to be checking up on that. Make sure he's alright. Tom met his fiancée Ruby 8 months after Yas passed. Tom was lost without Yas, and he cut and pasted Ruby into his life quickly, and Louis hated it. Ruby came with the 3 of her own kids who moved into the house. Suddenly Ruby was turning up at his school events and telling him what to do. Tom felt like it was an adjustment that eventually Louis would let Ruby and her kids into his life. It never happened. That's unfortunate that the kid wasn't able to really make the transition very good. In the spring, I started to get worried about Louis, so I convinced Tom to let him come and stay with me for the summer. When he arrived, he just looked miserable and burnt out. But I was shocked how quickly he seemed to come back to life with a little time and fun. The only time he gets upset is when his dad or Ruby calls, or anyone mentions him going home. 6 days ago, he sat me and my husband down and asked if we would consider letting him live with us. He said living with us is the only time he's felt happy since Yas. It's just shattered my heart into a million pieces. We had a long talk with him, and a long talk with Tom. Tom had a long talk with Lewis. I think is the first time in a long time that Tom actually heard how unhappy Lewis is, and he's devastated. He said he would consider it, but I could see how hurt he was. Night before last, I got a call from Ruby. She was howling down the phone that I am ruining Lewis and Tom's relationship. She said that by offering Lewis a way out, I basically made it impossible for them to bond, that I put them all in a possible situation, because if Tom says no, Lewis will hate him, and that if Tom says yes, Tom will resent her and her kids for being the reason Lewis left. She said Lewis had a chance to have a real family, and that by taking him away just because it's hard, I'm ruining that for him. She said I was meddling bitch who was out to steal Lewis from one parent he had left. I defended myself on the phone, but when she hung up, I cried. I just want what's best for Lewis when he arrived to stay with us. I didn't even know a child could look that old. Maybe my emotions made me cross the line. He already lost his mother. Maybe he's too young to really know what it means to cut off his dad like this. I should have tried harder to make him see that, or not give him a way out. My parents and husband think we're doing the right thing, but a couple of friends I've spoken to said that while families are hard, Lewis might regret leaving his dad later in life when he grows up and they don't have a bond. I know this is complex, but I guess I'm just wanting a perspective from people who aren't as emotionally plugged into this as I am. I'm the asshole. No, this is complicated. I don't think this person is the asshole, but I also don't think the other side is an asshole in this. Even though I think that the situation is quite a bit. I think that there's got to be room for the kid to be with his dad and his new stepmom and really be able to adjust to it. And I just don't know if he's had enough time to build with it, you know? Like, even though it's been several, let's see, he passed away 4 years ago. I'm just trying to read what the timeline is with this. Okay, so, what? Less than 4 years. Tom connects with Ruby. Tom and Ruby are a thing for, 3 years and 3 months, something like that. And Lewis has been around that for that long, roughly. By the time he is in the situation for that long, basically. And he's not made that connection that amount of time. And it's bothered Lewis a lot. And, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I get the sense that Lewis is having a rough time. But I just think that, you know, he's got a family, you know, that cares about him. And even though the aunt is basically like offering an option, I just don't think it's an option the kid should take. I don't know. This is a very complicated one, you know? There's some of them that feel easy, and there's some of them that are just as convoluted. But let's see what Reddit says. I'm not sure. Not the asshole. Tom's asshole for not punting Ruby and her kids and prioritizing his own son first. Huh. Sees Ruby as a problem here. Not the asshole enough for your nephew approached you, not the other way around. If you had told Tom what was happening and your ability to help went, then it would be a different story. Additionally, Tom had seriously let his relationship slide with his son himself. And it's not on you. Okay, this is interesting. Hey, not the asshole here. But yeah. It's a difficult decision. But, so there's two more that I want to read before I do a wrap up, alright? This was a short one here. Am I the asshole? My girlfriend forbid me from using the phone on the toilet because it's gross. Yeah, it's gross. Is it bad to use the phone on the toilet? My girlfriend forbid me from using the phone on the toilet because it's gross. Is it bad that I use the phone on the toilet? I stopped using it, but I got reprimanded a lot for using it in the past. Did I do something bad by using it? I got the habit from watching American movies where they mentioned it. I see a comment here. Currently on the toilet reading this. Same, bro. So they're saying, yeah, not the asshole. Do what you want, basically. You know, you know, yeah, it's fine. I know I'm guilty of using my phone on the crapper. Yeah. So I just don't see much value in trying to push somebody else on that. Okay. I was trying to find the last one to end on. Okay, this is the last one to end on before, and this one's a long one too. So let's get started on this one. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she has to move out if she cannot respect the house rules? Interesting. Okay, let's get started. My wife, while coming from a well-off home, is thrifty in the kitchen. She believes that food waste is terrible. We have a leftover day, and my wife believes in composting and is active in the community gardens and farmers markets. She also believes in upcycling items and reusing them to or selling things at the farmers market. Very eco-friendly kind of a person. I know that I do some eco-friendly stuff, like I put compost in a bag and stuff like that. I do take some of that stuff out, and I always recycle, and yeah. My family thinks she's a fanatic, but it's something her and her friends enjoy. My sister fell on hard times and recently left a horrible relationship and has 2 kids. That's unfortunate of a situation to be in. She moved in and has repeatedly called my wife stupid. My sister isn't working and receives some kind of benefits. The problem is my sister and her kids are wasteful of their food. My wife has offered to help my sister learn to can or even make her own baby's food. My sister said no. She refused to compost basic items such as coffee and doesn't separate recyclables. She thinks leftover days are stupid and that we make enough money and she's sick of my wife's stupid bullshit rules. Her words. My wife tried to show her what can be composted again and asked her to help on the farmers market with her, hoping to get her more involved in the community. There's also children for my nephews to play with and other parents she can connect with. It's an overall positive impact, and my sister refused. And to add, him and his wife have a booth at the farmers market. Okay. Don't get me wrong, it's their house and it's their way to do things, but aspects of things, some people do not have an eco-friendly sense to them. Just people that they do what they do. So trying to push them to go that direction, that can be a whole thing itself. But also, they're not really respecting aspects of where they're staying. You know, I feel like if there's okay rules and guidelines to follow at a spot where you know, you and your family are, and it's not your house, then you should probably try to see how much you can abide by things. But okay, let's continue on. Things go to worse when my wife tells my sister about the coffee grounds, and my sister gets mad and throws cleaning solutions on top of my compost pile and calls my wife a fucking dirty trash picker. Yeah, okay. I'm disgusted at my sister and tell her she's done. She needs to find a new place to live. She can't be respectable in other people's homes. And you may think composting and recycling are dirty work, but at least we aren't homeless dragging 2 kids house to house. My sister tries to backtrack, saying she had a rough day, but she was not working and does the bare minimum cleaning and helping out, so I told her she can either move out on her own or I'll get the courts involved. She left that night on her own. We did not make her leave that night, and staying at a homeless shelter in the middle of the summer, making herself a victim to the rest of the extended family and telling social media she needs a place to crash. Well, some people have reached out to say, how could we? Most of my wife's friends and family saw how she acted in our home and to our faces. However, in social media, my sister paints herself a victim because she acts like she got kicked out for not composting, refusing to be a live-in maid, and we treat her terribly. She's posting her Venmo and she'll publicly share screenshots of people donating to her, calling my wife awful names. Okay. Well, okay, I'm gonna do the final decision of saying this person's not the a-hole. Only mainly for the last part there, because the last part gave me a little clearer review of the sister's way that she's treating the household. Basically, it just seems like she's coming into the space, and instead of being thankful and being able to just be nice and cooperative, she is throwing a temper tantrum and making things worse within the household, and to create a toxic environment in a space that is merely being offered to you but is not your own is a douchey thing to do. And it's unfortunate that she is in a homeless place there, but she ended up there due to her own poor behavior, from what I gather from this post, which is very unfortunate. I'm going to have to say that this person's not the a-hole. Yeah, I see. I'm not the a-hole. And that the sister's behavior just not good. So yeah. I think I've reached the last one already, I believe. Yeah, I think that was the last one. So thank you all for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Yeah. Have a good one, everybody.